Children, till 10th standard you have studied 2D geometry. 2D geometry means what? On your plane you are having two perpendicular axes. How? Suppose this is a plane, so on that we are having two perpendicular axes. This horizontal line is your x-axis, vertical line is your y-axis. Now see, how many dimensions here we have? X-axis, y-axis, two dimensions. So that is why we used to call it as 2D geometry. Now in place of two dimensions, now we are having three dimensions. So how? Observe, like this, x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. So such a plane is called 3D plane. In this chapter, we are going to study Introduction to 3D Geometry. Now, definitely in your mind will be a question that why we have to study it, where we have to use it. So, suppose we want to know a position of any point, location of any object. So, that time 3D geometry is used. Why 3D geometry? Why we are not using 2D geometry? Because in our world, in our day-to-day life, we are dealing with whatever objects. These all objects are 3D only. So that is why we have to use 3D geometry. Suppose on my hand, I am holding a ball in my hand. That ball, if I will throw, first of all this side, then with respect to time. Now suppose another girl or boy is standing there, and or on opposite side, and that boy or girl will again throw a ball in the sky. So again will go there, and after that it will come back. So if I want to find out a position of this ball, position of this object, so that time this concept is applicable. It is not like that just of a ball. Ball is a very simple example which is easy to understand. That is why I have given. But in our day-to-day life, there are many examples. In physics also you have studied. So children, here we'll discuss with you 3D geometry. First of all, coordinates of a point in a space. Coordinates of a point in a space while you people are studying. So that time, first of all, suppose you are having one cuboid. And this position if I want to know. So this point's position if I want to know. So how I will know? So this arm I have assumed as x-axis, this arm I have assumed as y-axis, and this arm I have assumed as z-axis. Now you can observe, though it is 3D shape and I kept in 3D plane only. So that is why if I want to know a location of this point, so in a 2D geometry, suppose if I am placing one coordinate here, so obviously we will get here x comma y coordinate. So similarly here you are having three axes, so position of point P will be x comma y comma z, and this is known as a coordinate. Intersecting point we are denoting as O, and these intersecting points are always 0 0 0, which is your origin. Now though your in a 2D geometry, your two axes are dividing into four equal quadrants. Each part we are knowing as quadrant. So here we are obviously positive points are there, 1 2 3. Here negative points, here also positive points, and here negative points. So if I want to identify a sign of this position of a points, so will be obviously plus plus. Now observe, x-axis negative, y-axis positive. So its coordinate will get minus plus. This coordinate will get minus comma minus, and this coordinate will be plus comma minus. So here you are having on your 2D plane, just because of these two perpendicular axes, it is dividing into four equal parts, and each part is known as a quadrant. Based on that, we have easily identified its sign. But on the 3D geometry, while you will keep this all those things in front of you, so that time in place of 4, but you are having in place of 4 part, it will divide into 8 equal part, and each part is called octant. So now you have octants. Octants means 8 parts you have. So we will divide into 8 different paths. So if you want to know a sign of coordinate, so for that there is a trick. Directly, easily you cannot remember it. So here coordinate, octant. So here I am writing coordinates x, y and z because I am having 3 axes. Now how many octants? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This portion also I have to rub. But this all sign you have to remember. 5, 6, it is 7 and 8. Now there is a trick to remember this all sign. Rough diagram, here I am drawing one small diagram. Here your coordinate sign plus plus, minus plus, minus minus, plus minus. These are the sign of coordinates. So what you have to do, roughly you are knowing a sign of all axes in a 2D plane. So that time in a first quadrant, observe your sign was x-axis positive, y-axis positive. In a second quadrant, x negative, y positive. In a third quadrant, both were negative. In a fourth quadrant, x positive, y negative. Now what about remaining 4? So that time, what I should do, from 5 onwards, I have to repeat this all sign from the beginning. So here plus, then minus, then plus. So this is a proper technique, then only you will be able to remember. Now from here also, we'll start from the beginning. Plus, next is plus, minus, minus. Now what about z-axis? So in a z-axis, plus 4, first 4 positive, next 4 negative. So this way you can remember a sign of a coordinate. Randomly one coordinate is given. Suppose 4 minus 1, 6. And if they will ask you, identify that it will lies in which octant. So that time you have to identify x positive, y negative, z positive. So it lies in a fourth octant. In place of that, suppose it is given minus 1, minus 3 and minus 2. All are negative. All are negative in which? So in a 7th octant. So it's this way you may remember the sign of octants. In your exercise 4.1, some questions are there. One more example let me take. Minus 4, 2, minus 6. It lies in which octant? So that time your answer should be minus x minus y positive and z also minus. Minus plus minus. It lies in a 6th octant. So this way you may identify it. Similarly, suppose while you were studying a 2D geometry, so on a 2D geometry, if I want to locate any particular point, so its value will be in terms of x and y. But suppose your coordinate lies on x-axis. It lies on x-axis means y coordinate 0. So similarly on a 3D geometry also, if your point lies on x-axis, so its coordinate will be x, 0, 0. If it lies on y-axis, so its coordinate will be 0, y, 0. And if it lies on z-axis, so its coordinate will be 0, 0, z. So children, hope this concept understood to you.